I seriously have no idea which day this is coming out, but it's sometime in the future, I hope. Otherwise, something's seriously wrong if it's coming out sometime in the past. Well, suppose it could be after I post it. But as I record it, it should be the future. Maybe.
A quick thank you to the T5 peeps. Bob the Dragon, Data Magnet, Cat Crab Lobster, Duck Machine, Try Again 95, Astray the Dreamer, Mesic, Budic Joel, German Chemist, Casper Arnholtz, and Chaos to Must. Thank you very much.
Oh, anyways, on to the story. The Carrot Feeding of Humans, Part 18. It's easy to make the mistake that herbivores are gentle and peaceful, and that carnivores are dangerous and quick. But creating those images in your mind is a dangerous game of self-delusion. It denies the fierce intensity of the shower people, vegetarians all, or the mindful meditations of the Bounty people, who live in a strict diet of meat and whose entire religion is devoted to honoring the lives that they take for food. And it will leave you totally unprepared for the enigma that is a human. Dubious Review of Ontological Species, The Carrot Feeding of Humans, You Are What You Eat, published by Glass and Steel, translation engine 3.14159. Looking out the window at the light, Nerif reached out and touched the glass. She felt something brush against her leg and looked down to see Fubsby sniffling her pants. Then Fubsby stood up on her hind paws and reached up to Nerif, before sinking her claws in and trying to climb Nerif's leg. "Ow! What are you doing?" Nerif cried. Zoe bent over and pulled Fubsby loose from Nerif's leg. "I think she wants you to hold her," Zoe said. "Well, she could ask," Nerif said, but reached out for the kitten. "That hurt? Fubsby, you can't climb my leg like that." "Nerif, you do know that she doesn't understand you, right?" Zoe said. Nerif blushed, the faint purple hard to see in the makeshift light system that Alan and Quirf had set up. "I know, but you all talk to her like she can understand," Nerif said. Zoe smiled. "That's a human thing. We talk to everything, even inanimate objects." Nerif nodded. "That's what the book said." Zoe looked at Nerif, a small smile, but very firm eyebrows. "I keep hearing people talk about the book. You really need to let me read it." "When we get back on the ship," Nerif promised, "I will get you the location." Fubsby seemed content now that Nerif was holding her and tried to turn over on her back in Nerif's hands, her head upside down and her belly exposed. Nerif made a little sound. "No, ocean below. She's the most adorable thing that I've ever seen." Zoe smiled. "You're on your way to becoming a crazy cat lady. We'll know you've arrived once you start dressing her up in clothes." Nerif looked puzzled. "What is a crazy cat lady? And why would I want to be one? And why would anyone, no matter how crazy, dress up a cat in—" The tent surrounding the ground station flashed a brilliant light show of red and gold, and Nerif almost dropped Fubsby. Zoe cursed and ran to the door, Nate a little behind her. When Zoe got to the door, she used the door scanner for a moment, unholstered her weapon, and opened up the door. She swore again and turned back to the team and yelled, "Kill the lights!" Alan yanked the wires that connected the lights to the battery pack, and darkness dropped around them. "Alan, you and the Rips wait here. Guard the door. Nate, you're with me," Zoe said. Nate pulled his weapon and followed Zoe out the door, closing it behind them. Alan walked over to the door and stood next to it, his back to the wall. Nerif saw that he pulled his weapon too. "Quirf, you hold Fubsby," Nerif said. "Terif, pull your knife." "Why me?" Quirf said. "Because Terif is better with his knife than you are," Nerif said. Again, her voice was calm, matter of fact. "Only because he's a chef and spends more time cutting things up," Quirf muttered, but not too loudly. He took Fubsby, but must not have been gentle because— "Ow! Fubsby bit me." "Treat her better next time," Terif advised. "Poor Fubsby, I didn't mean to scare you," Quirf murmured to the kitten. Fubsby made a little bleat of a sound back. Nerif's attention was on the windows. She saw first Zoe's shadow and then Nate's cross in front of the windows. They walked around the station, in the space between the station and the tent. Nerif followed them from one block of windows to the next. They stopped at one point, and Zoe crouched out, and then Nate joined her. But Narif couldn't see what they were doing without getting closer to the windows, and she wasn't ready to do that. After a few minutes, Zoe and Nate came back in again. Looks like something was running through the forest and hit the force field in the dark. It stunned itself, Zoe announced. We tried getting some low-line pictures of it, but I didn't want to cross the force field when we don't know what's going on yet. If it's still there in the morning, we'll see what more we can discover about it. How would it hit our force field? Querif asked. Nate shrugged. Basically, the force field just looks like a black spot. It's easy to miss a black spot in the dark. And if you're running through, wham! It looks like some sort of undulate. I know alien world and all, but it does look like it's an herbivorous mammal thingy. Are we okay to put the lights back on? Alan asked. Sure, Zoe said. It's not like they're going to attract any attention. I just needed them out so that I could see outside better. Nerif had forgotten for a moment how well humans could see in the dark. Nate said, Hold on, 1 minute. I just want to see if I can get a good look at that thing. He walked over to the end of the banks of windows to try and see the creature. Nope. I guess we could send a droid out to keep an eye on it. Zoe wrinkled her nose. I don't want to send our last droid out, not as long as the perimeter is holding. But I get what you mean. She turned to Querif. Any chance that you could at least get the ground station surveillance working? Querif shrugged. It hasn't highest on my list of priorities, but I could take a look at it and see if we can get at least one of them running. He set Fubsby down, who cried her protest to Querif and anyone that would listen. He ignored her, after giving her a little pet, and then he and Alan moved over to see if the security cameras could be hooked up into the battery directly, like the lights, which Alan plugged back in. Once the lights came back up, Nerif glanced out the windows. With lights on inside and dark outside, she didn't expect to see anything, and she was right. She got closer to the glass and frowned. She said. The glowing light is gone again. Do you think our undulate scared it? Given the speed that the thing must have been using to knock itself unconscious, it's probably more likely that it was scared by something else. That's just a guess, Nate said. They settled on their standard watch list again. Querif and Alan were able to set up some of the security cameras. It's a crap job, Alan said. We can't get the IR to work at all, and some of the cameras seem to have weird hiccup, but, it's great, interrupted Zoe, and more than what we had. The night was quiet. No thumps, no storms, and Nerif found herself nodding a little, not falling asleep, but maybe drifting in that direction. Then, Fubsby hissed. End of chapter. And that, my friends, concludes this video.